My name is Aline Rodriguez. I'm a student here at Washington and Jefferson College. My senior art show is about pollution. Specifically, it's about littering. The title of my show is Fragment. I started working on my artwork for my senior art show when I was back home in Houston, Texas. I started to notice that I spent a lot of my time surrounded in nature. Nature for me served as a way for me to reflect and also as a space of safety. Being at Herman Park, which was where I spent a lot of my time at, I noticed that there was a lot of litter on the ground. In my artwork, I draw still lifes on paper bags and wood, and by drawing these items on these materials specifically, I'm bringing back importance to the materials that people tend to leave behind and no longer value. They're hung this way to mimic the way that litter can be blown in the air. It also emphasizes the amount of litter that can be found on the ground. For my centerpiece, it's a drawing of a heart, and that's focused on the moral obligation for people to be more aware of the way they dispose of their trash, and also to take better care of our environment because of the resources it provides us with. Some of my drawings are in color due to the fact that I still have a sense of hope that people will be more mindful about the way they dispose their trash over time, and to be aware of the harmful consequences that it can have on the environment. For the pieces behind me, I started working on wooden materials, and then I had professors come up to me with the idea of also implementing paper bags because of the fact that they're also materials that are disposed of. For my process for this piece, I actually soaked the paper bag in ink and then I let it dry overnight. And then afterwards, that's when I started to draw my still life drawing on top of it. And then I added charcoal powder to the piece to also create the texture in the back. And then towards the end, I started to splatter the ink for my piece. I started working on wood when I was back home in Houston, Texas. A hurricane had hit, and it was actually one of the materials that really interested me due to the fact that it was disposed of. I started experimenting on the wood. I used different mediums. I tried to use colored pencils. I didn't really like how that turned out. And then over time, I had started to develop a kind of style on what would work best for my drawings on wood. Some of the mediums that I work with within my art include ink, chalk pastel, charcoal, and graphite. I usually start with the sketch, and then slowly I add in the highlights and the medium tones and then the darker values. And then from there I build up. And for the background of my pieces, I tend to put ink on them. And then I use charcoal powder to create a texture. The title of my show is called Fragment due to the fact that I'm covering a larger environmental problem of pollution, but my show is focused specifically on littering.